The Trails series is ready to go to new heights with the newest game coming out at the beginning of 2026, Trails Beyond the Horizon. While it does change up the naming theme of the Calvard games thus far, Horizon is the third game in the Calvard arc, and after Daybreak 2, I'm ready to go back to a game that pushes the series forward as we creep closer and closer to the finale for this arc and for the series as a whole. All that I've heard from those who have played Horizon indicates as well that we are in for a good time. Trails Beyond the Horizon is a hybrid combat RPG developed by Nihon Falcom and localized and published in the West by NIS America. As I mentioned before, it is the third game in the Calvard arc following the Daybreak games and is the 13th game in the Trails subseries. At this point, Trails Beyond the Horizon is also the only non-localized Trails game in the series, and once it comes in January, the West will have fully caught up to Japan for Trails releases. If you want to know more about how monumental a feat this has been, I have some other videos you should watch on the topic. Trails Beyond the Horizon came out in Japan in September of 2024 for PS4 and PS5. A PC port courtesy of Clouded Leopard came out for China and other Asian markets in 2025, and the upcoming English release will cover all of those platforms along with a Switch and Switch 2 version on January 15, 2026. A demo is now out for all platforms. Yes, that does finally include PC as well, and the story demo carries over to the main game. A couple things of note for particular platforms. For PC, PH3 Games returns to do the port, which is great news as Durante and his crew do amazing work. For Switch and Switch 2, the Switch 2 version is a game keycard at $69.99 as opposed to $59.99 for the other versions, with no word of an upgrade path for a regular Switch copy as of yet. Those who I know who have played the game have had overall positive things to say, but it'll be great to see how everyone thinks come the time for the Western release. If you are not already aware, the Trails games are a series of games set in the Zemurian continent with interconnected stories and characters across the years in game. They are heavily lore and world building dependent, and Horizon is no different, so I would not recommend this game as a starting point for the series. This video may also contain spoilers for specifically the first two Calvard games, so if you haven't finished those, I would recommend steering clear as well. Luckily for newcomers to the series, the remake of the first game in the Trail series came out a few months ago and is great. You should check that one out. Now that it's down to our Trails diehards and those who simply want to hear me talk about video games, you are lovely, thank you very much. Let's talk more about Beyond the Horizon. Something big is brewing in the Republic. The president of Calvard, Roy Gramhart, has announced an initiative to reach where no person has gone in history: outer space. At the same time, other major players are starting to move around the continent in coordination or in opposition to the government's plans. The technological giant Marduk, the shadowy organization Ouroboros, and of course, our humble heroes over at Arkwright Solutions. With a lot of tumult going on in the country, Van and his crew have a lot to try and figure out because this is Trails and there are plans behind the scenes of all these surface events like the rocket launch. There is also the still ongoing countdown to the culmination of Agnes's grandfather's warning looming over the group. Therefore, it'll be nice to get some old friends from the series in to help with things. We have Van's group that we've grown to know and love over the last two games, another group led by Erebonia's own Reen Schwarzer, and a final group mixing Rufus's group from Trails into Reverie with Kevin Graham in his triumphant return for the first time since Trails to Azure. All of this promises to be a big setup for the events of the game and for the sequel, which at this point looks like it won't come until 2027 at least. Trails Beyond the Horizon promises to start moving the series forward after Daybreak 2's lateral move. From what I've been told, this game not only propels the Calvard arc forward, but also begins to answer some questions that have been burning for the series since the initial Sky games. For that alone, I would be excited, but you also have great potential with the return of characters like Kevin, who has been underutilized in the series so far, and the continued development of Van and the Calvard cast. At the core, Trails is still about world building and characters, and Horizon promises more on both those fronts. I especially think that with all the new locations that the game will be highlighting and the clearer look at just what is happening with the desertification of the eastern part of the continent, that this will shape up to be one of the most important games in the series for the overall lore. The overall structure of the game appears to mimic the series' formula so far. While you are splitting your time between 3 different perspectives in a similar way to Trails into Reverie, you will still be taking on quests, exploring the area, and tackling main story objectives along the way. Falcom has honed its skill at writing and designing these multi-path game stories and structure, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Horizon's design allows us to see and do that enhances our overall understanding on exactly what is going on across Temeria. That, and of course, the continued use of bonding events to get to know characters even better, and wouldn't you know it, Trails Beyond the Horizon introduces a new mechanic to make that even easier. In the past entries with bonding events, they would limit how many you could do in a single day, and thus limit what you could see without reloading saves or playing through the game entirely again. Now, while those restrictions still apply for regular gameplay, there are also opportunities to return to the scenes that you missed, view them while playing the game, and get the gameplay benefits from doing so. It's nice to not have that arbitrary restriction anymore, while staying true to the idea that Van does have limited time to spend with everyone all at once. For combat, the hybrid system continues to gain innovations. Horizon returns all of the improvements made in Daybreak 2 with a couple adjustments. To give an example, the follow-up attacks in the field don't switch the character you are controlling anymore like they did in Daybreak 2. Otherwise, for the field battles, the 2 new features I know of include Awakening, which can be used to temporarily boost stats and prowess for particular characters. The example used is having Van use the Grendel in standard field battles when boosted. The other feature is ZOC, which in field battles freezes enemies and increases damage for a short time, and in command battles gives extra turns. Command battles also have a couple new features, the first of which is a variation on the old Grave Order system from the Cold Steel games called Shard commands that give party-wide boosts for a few turns. Be careful though, because your opponents may have their own commands that override yours. The last addition involves a member outside of your current party that can help boost your abilities or perform a follow-up attack called a Blitz, Chain, or Support. While playing the demo, it did take me a little bit to catch back up on all the features for Horizon that Arch and Sky Remake's more stripped down system, but once I was back in it, I was having a great time. The combat for the Calvard games only seems to be getting better and better. In a nod to Horizon functioning as the next game in the formula that started with Sky the Third and most recently was seen with Trails into Reverie, there is also an area to explore called the Grim Garten. Basically, Ouroboros' warped version of the Märchengarten from Daybreak 2, which has you going through levels taking on challenges with all the party members while also having a chance to get items and boosts from tokens and visions of backstories or other events happening on the continent via memento orbs. This is the area where you get those aforementioned additional ways to see bonding events, so I'm all for it. But I will be honest that I'm hoping these side areas don't become a regular occurrence in the series moving forward. At a certain point, it starts to feel bloated and not as special anymore. As Falcom's mastery of their new engine grows greater and greater, I continue to look forward to seeing what new animations and visual flourishes they can include in the games. Horizon seems like another step in that direction. Beyond that, unlike Daybreak 2, which pretty much kept everyone's same designs and clothing, Horizon has updated many of them, and I really like a lot of the new looks for characters new and old. Musically, at least the prologue front-loaded a lot of new tracks, some of which are very well done. I imagine though that many tracks will still be repeated from the previous games, as we will still be spending plenty of time at our home base in Edith. For voice acting, the quality has always been top-notch. The one thing that's been holding it back over the years has been the inconsistency regarding who is voiced in what scenes. I don't foresee that changing for Horizon, but a man can hope, and the prologue didn't really feature that as an issue, so we'll just have to see. As for UI and UX, there are thus far no major changes that I could see from what I've played so far, but perhaps if you've noticed anything, you can let me know in the comments. The presentation for Trails Beyond the Horizon fits the pattern as being a progression, but not a mind-blowing one from the previous games. Trails Beyond the Horizon is an important game in the series, both for its promise of sending us fans somewhere we have never been before, and the real-life achievement of being the Trails game that means the West will have caught up to Japan. I'll have more to say on that next month, but suffice to say, I'm excited for both the game and the chance to reflect on the journey that has gotten us to this point. To those who have already played Horizon, let me know what your thoughts were on it without spoilers, please. And for those like myself who have been waiting, let me know what you're excited about with regards to this new step in the series. Please leave this video a like if you have not already, and subscribe as we push to get to 5,500 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and happy gaming.